Welcome to the Eutaw Street Banter podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Eutaw Street Banter. I'm your host, Elisha, and with me is Greg. How are we doing, Greg?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited to talk about some baseball. It's been an exciting few weeks. Getting into the midway point of the season. We're about halfway through. Most games got about 80, 82 games played right around in there. And, this is the make or break time for a lot of teams.
This is when everything starts to get decided. You know, what the future of this year, what teams want to do, what they don't want to do. In the next 30 days, your team's either going to decide they're sellers or they're going for it.
Or you can be like the three random teams that decide to do neither. Like the Colorado Rockies. They love to do
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, it's really that exciting point of the season, like we said. But one thing that is coming up pretty soon is the MLB draft. And MLB's actually proposed kind of a retool and rehaul that wouldn't be into effect this year, but something that we could look down in the future and see what's happening. And it really is a big change from what we're used to. It get rid of all high schoolers in the draft. And all of those players that could have been drafted in high school have to go to college now, and they have to finish their freshman and sophomore year to be eligible for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
It's also shortening it from 20 rounds to 12 rounds, which is really a big difference because just a few years ago it was 40 rounds. And then it felt like, and then you look back in like the 80s and 70s and stuff, and you had like Scooby-Doo getting drafted because it could just go on forever, and people were drafting their bosses, nephews, nieces, or whatever just because why not? Which I think to be fair, it's kind of hilarious. I kind of wish we could still do that. It'd be pretty funny if you just randomly saw this random person. Who's that? That's Mike Elias's cousin's nephew. He just wanted to say he was drafted. He's not going to get signed. So I don't know. I would personally, I think that it's humanizable. But it also would. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
One of the interesting parts about this is they proposed it, and yes, they've cut from 20 to 12, but they also proposed the international draft.
Yeah.
So instead of doing a pool where you can just go sign whoever, the Orioles, if they don't have the pool money to go sign somebody, but the Yankees do, the Yankees can get the best international prospect.
Absolutely.
Under the proposal, it's going to be a draft just like the other draft. So I think cutting the rounds in the regular draft down, but opening up an international draft does help kind of still bring in the same amount of players.
Yeah. And you're still going to see, just limiting the players, the same amount of players are still going to get signed. They still got to fill the roster spots. I think you would just see a lot of people that get just signed. And like you said, though, with the international draft, if that were to come into effect and you kind of get rid of that bidding process, that also could play into this because they're cutting the bonus pool money from $358.7 million to a potential $200 million, which is pretty substantial. It's $150 million you're getting rid of. And that's something that you could be used for on the major league roster to maybe reach a salary, get over a salary floor if that does end up happening. And it really would revamp the whole process of drafting, of scouting, and kind of the whole system that we've had set up for, I would say, the past 50 years almost.
Yeah, they've talked about the second part of this, which isn't included in their proposal, but is probably coming down the pipeline. If they go this way, there's a chance that you're going to see elimination of some minor league teams. So
which we already had a few years ago.
Yeah, high A, single A, they have some of these places have 6 teams. You're going to see it more streamlined down to the 3 teams, the single, the double, and the triple A, which in the end is supposed to create more money for the major league club. So if it's done correctly, should create more money for major league players.
Should.
And I think if it's about the money for the major league player, and I know there's arguments over a floor and a cap and all that, which I hope it all gets figured out. If you are able to create that floor and you've pushed all this money back into the major league team with the smaller markets, there's no reason you can't compete. Yes. Yeah. You may not be able to always afford 4 studs, but if you could afford 3 studs, 2 studs, and then fill out your team, you should be able to compete. And I think that is what they're trying to get to.
Trying to get rid of the excuses, which I think is good. It's good.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem too when it comes to discussions for like the salary cap and salary floor. A lot of people really just have to understand the players aren't the bad guys. And even specifically the teams aren't the bad guys. It's really just the 30 owners. That's really what you're looking at. If you want to say there's and maybe it's not 30, maybe it's just like 15 owners that are just ruining the rest of the league. Really. That's what it is. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Like Steve Cohen for the Mets. I don't think he's upset about there being a salary floor. Now, granted, he doesn't want a salary cap either, but still, it's just the figuring it all out. It's such a complicated process. But the one thing I do take away from this, and I'm intrigued to see how it all plays out. Say there is a revamping of the system. There's less minor league teams in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of these independent baseball leagues, say the Atlantic League, are partnered with the MLB. Would we see a lot of those act as almost like a proxy AAA? Would we see it be a lot of those quadruple A guys that are the journeymen that spend 7 years between double and AAA? They go there and you can sign a quick contract and just get cut after a few weeks of moving. Do you see some more fluidity between that?
I definitely think you could see more action in that realm. Your independent leagues, I could see picking up even high schoolers. If they didn't want to go to college, they could pitch 2 years in an independent league. I mean, those kind of options are available for the young and the old players when it comes to that. It's just baseball is so much different than any other sport. Football, basketball, until they put in the G League. Basketball basically preyed off the college game. That was their minor league. And yes, baseball is trying, if you force guys to stay in for 2 years, you're kind of moving to that system of using the colleges to develop players. But at the same time, it's also limiting the team's exposure to bad management, bad drafting. I think that's where it's funny. It's if you're a good drafting team, you're creating players, whether they come in the 1st or the 10th round.
Absolutely.
You're seeing needs for your team and you're creating. When you're a bad drafting team, you're not even hitting on your 1st round talents consistently.
Now,
I think that's,
for example,
that's a big thing.
The Los Angeles Angels. Go look at some of their drafts.
Yes.
They have a couple hits, but it's for the most part they do end up missing. And I feel like the way that this would lead though is in protection of maybe some probably more specifically pitchers than anything. This is trying to protect their arms.
Mm-hmm.
We already see like the fast track of pitchers. A lot of pitchers, 6 months, a year in the minors, not even a full season, and they're up in the majors. If you have, say, someone like Jacob Mizorowski, say a guy like that type of build that throws fast, or even like, say, Chase Burns for the Reds. I didn't even play a full season in the minors before he got called up. You have guys like that if you don't, you say you have them go to college, and maybe you would have drafted them out of high school. I don't even believe either of them were drafted out of high school. They were just the prototypes that I'm using. You force them through 2 years of school. Well, you're going to have a team that says, this is a 20-year-old that throws 95 miles an hour, 98 miles an hour, has great movement. There's not much more we can do to him right now other than making him wait 4 years to come up. He's starting the season in AA, AAA, and in 3 months he's in your rotation.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the way the college, the upper level college game has went in the last, say, 5 years, and how the MLB, what is it, the last 3 years, 4 years, even 5 years, guys are graduating college or being drafted in July, and they're pitching in the playoffs, in September. I mean, you're older kids, kids in college, those pitchers are coming in already throwing 96, 97. And, the teams are looking for arms.
Yeah, and now more than ever, it's more about stuff than anything else. That's the big. It's really just about stuff.
It is.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting.
Can you get? Yeah.
Yeah, I have one proposal.
Can you get the outs when you need to?
Yeah. 100%. I have one proposal for the MLB and for the NCAA. If this all changes in the way that the direction that we were talking about, you should make college wood bats. That would be my proposal.
Oh, I agree with you. Totally. But it's never going to happen.
Oh, no.
There's too much money from Louisville. I would love to see the game go to wood bats. I think it's actually, it's entertaining. It's still entertaining.
No, it is. Because, like, what was it? 2 years ago, because he got drafted this past year. Yeah. Charlie Condon, I don't remember how you say his last name. He got drafted by the Rockies. He was, I believe, at Georgia, hitting moonshots. He hits him 5 less feet with a wood bat. It's just there's some of the guys. It could weed out a few of the outliers of players. It's also just like you said, it's just as fun. And the sound of a wood bat's so much better than a metal bat. Anyway. Well, moving on off of that.
Oh, it would. I agree with you. Yeah.
Well, moving on. I want to talk about something that happened this past weekend, actually. And it's something that me and Cody got to do with our family. We went to Camden Yards for the Upper Deck Golf event, is what it was called. It was basically, there's 9 holes set up throughout Camden Yards, and you were teeing up off of different spots in the upper deck and the lower deck, off of the center field pavilion and stuff. It was really cool how it's set up, and it was really cool. It was interesting hitting the ball, obviously, just off the you're almost at the top of the stadium behind home plate, just trying to hit it. And you're not trying to hit it as far as you can. You're not allowed to bring drivers or anything, sadly. But just get your nice pitching wedge in there.
Oh, okay.
It was fun. It was really cool how they did. It's for Stand Up to Cancer, so it was a fundraiser and stuff. It was really cool. I did hit a little bit of a slice and just about hit the batter's eye. Wasn't supposed to do that, but I'm not a golfer. So that's what we'll chalk it up to.
So what club were you allowed to use? Just pitching wedge?
So it was pitching wedge and a couple just really low degree stuff. They didn't want you to hit the ball far, because you could either use clubs they were provided or bring your own. But I think of the ones, they had very specific requirements of what you could bring of your own. They were trying to limit you. I think
that's cool.
I think the farthest hole I think was like 120 yards.
Okay, so it was definitely all low degree clubs. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But moving on off of golf and baseball, we're getting out of all stick and ball sports. We're going on to the World Cup, because I've been loving the World Cup. I wouldn't say I'm a huge soccer guy, but I like soccer. I played soccer throughout most of my life up until high school and stuff. And I really enjoy watching it, getting to see some players you don't see. And because it's in America, I don't have to watch it 2:00 in the morning. Every game's at a normal time. It's kind of nice. Have you been watching any of the World Cup?
Exactly. Yeah, I've watched America. I've watched France. I watched Argentina the other day, but Messi scored 2 goals again. Listen, it's a huge success. And I figured it would be. My whole thing with any sport, now this is going to be pro-American and very centralized to America, but for me, it's hard to understand why every major sporting event, Olympics, World Cup, whatever, is not held in America in general. And I'll tell you why. Because in America, we don't have to build anything.
No,
to provide it. We already have the foundation for everything.
And to be fair, I think that's what they did. The next World Cup in 2030, they've already announced it. It's in Spain, Morocco, and Portugal because they already had the infrastructure. And that's what really, when you talk about that, you're mainly going off the most recent one in Qatar, which, to be fair, they spent almost $300 billion building it. It shouldn't be anywhere that you don't have the infrastructure for it. You shouldn't be. The Olympics is a huge problem. That's their only problem. But like for the World Cup, it is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the Olympics, you look at the Olympics and there's countries that go literally in debt to get the Olympics that they don't have the infrastructure for. And it amazes me because in the United States, which you have it in Europe too, you have the infrastructure already there. It should never go to these places, in these little places where it just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it. I'm trying to look at economics of it all.
No, you're thinking money. And no, it does make sense. I definitely understand.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's been cool. I think the idea of having it in a couple different countries is really cool. So you can spread it out and not have everyone on top of each other. You have the groups up in Toronto, the groups in Mexico, the groups spread across America. It's pretty cool how they've done it. And I feel like it's done a lot. It's been it's been a lot of good PR for America. I feel like a lot of like Europeans especially are really changing their mind on us.
Oh yeah. Well, they get to try different foods. I mean, Lord knows what we have in this country. We've got everything. But it's actually been really neat that the whole country plus Mexico, can get involved in this whole thing. I love it. I mean, anytime there's a sporting competition, I get excited. So,
yeah, no, definitely. I feel the same way. But now I guess we should probably get to actual Orioles stuff because it's pretty good. I don't have anything super negative to say about the Orioles. They've been playing better than not great, but not terrible.
Yeah.
But
no, they've been playing all right.
Yeah. And the next one I want to do something a little bit fun with it is we're going to go over all of the Orioles' big offseason acquisitions, mainly talking some trades and some signings. And we're each going to give a letter grade to that specific signing. And we don't know what we're going to give each other. We don't know what. So like for this first one, we're going to grade the signing of Pete Alonso. And I don't know what Greg's going to say, but Greg, what were you grading that sign?
I think it's an A. And just something short about it. I think it's an A because, first of all, he brings credibility to the Orioles. He's consistent. He's going to end up with 30 home runs, probably 265, 100 RBIs. He's solid at first base, and he's a presence in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah, the way I think about it too is I'll say this before I give my grade. So I feel like when you hear a lot of people talking about, like especially more old school people talking about like a ball player, Pete Alonso, he's a ball player. Like that's what he is. He's the only person on this team that's played every single game. He's played every game this season. And when you're hurt, when everyone else gets hurt, that's pretty important to have. I think I'm even going to go above an A. I'm going to give it an A+. And now I know he started the season off a little rough, but he's fully moved into form. I mean, we've got Pete Alonso. This is what we expected when we signed him. And that's why it was a good sign. I thought it was a good deal when we signed him, and it's still a good deal now. And moving on, we're going to go over the Shane Baz trade. Now, we gave up quite a bit for Shane Baz, but we'll see what you think about him. I know he's not done too terrible lately. So what do you think?
I think it's a B. You did give up a lot, but I will say this. He's been okay. I don't think it's a horrible trade. I think what I like about it is they got a young guy with upside. They've signed him. That's a plus. And he is starting to pitch better. His ERA has gotten done. June, he's been really good. I think it's a B. I don't think it was horrible. I think, they had to make a move. It wasn't what everybody was looking at out there. They were looking at Valdez being signed or this or that. But I think long term for the Orioles, He's not overly expensive. I think it's a B right now.
But yeah, no, I really like the Shane Baz move. I'm gonna go B minus. B minus is what I'm gonna say. Just because we have him for a while. He looked rough at the beginning of the year. He's shown what he can do though. The floor is there, or the ceiling's there. Excuse me. I'm just worried what that floor is. If he's not on it, he's kind of rough. But I don't know. Overall, I think it was definitely a good move. Good move.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving on, this one's he's been talked about kind of a lot lately just because he's kind of been a surprise for most people, but it's the trade for Blaze Alexander, which we gave up one of my favorite players, my favorite player that we gave up of the offseason, Kate Stroud, to the Diamondbacks. But what do you grade that?
I think it's an A. And the only reason I don't think he's an A player, but I think it's an A for the fact that without him, where would they have been in the last month and a half or longer? I mean, he come in, he's played a lot of positions. And he's kind of ignited them in a number of ways with his bat. When he got hot, the Orioles started playing better.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and that's why I'm going to give it an A+, because of all the reasons you said and because of the value of it, because you look at Kate Stroud, he's got almost a 6 ERA in AAA alone, not even made it to the majors yet this year. And we gave up 2 other prospects that are like low A. So it's like we really didn't give up that much for him, and he's still under some decent control. If he can hit like this, he's really been helpful with all the injuries. I love it.
Yeah, a good move.
Now, what do you think about the Taylor Ward trade?
I love the trade for one reason. You were getting nothing out of Grayson Rodriguez.
I feel the same way.
I think the grade on him is incomplete because if you look at him, he's been their leadoff hitter. I know the fans are upset he's not hitting 30 home runs, but think about where they would be at the top of the lineup without him. I mean, there for a while, he was, so I don't think it's an A, but if you take Grayson Rodriguez or him, at least he's playing.
That's true.
So, I mean, again, I would have to go B. I mean, it wasn't a bad move. The only problem you have is he's not signed long-term.
Yeah.
But Grayson Rodriguez wasn't playing anyway, so I keep going back to that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to just go ahead. I'm giving this an A. 80% of that's just because the Grayson Rodriguez getting out of town thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And by the way, he's on the injured list for the 2nd time this season already.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's Grayson Rodriguez. That's what he's been his whole career. Unfortunately.
Yep.
Has so much talent and so much potential, but he can't stay healthy. That's really all it is.
Not at all.
I look at this too is if Taylor Ward likes the clubhouse, if he sees potential with this team, we could end up re-signing him. And then you get a duo of like, you look at that, we'd have 3 long-term contracts. Or you can say you sign him to like a 3-year deal, get him, Alonso, and Basayo for a couple years there. That's pretty good right there. That's a nice little core you got there. Bounce off with Gunnar Henderson and whoever else you can have.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and he's going to be reasonable. I don't think he's going to be outpriced the Orioles. So I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, this is a more controversial one, but what about the signing of, I'm going to combine these two, signing of Andrew Kittredge and Ryan Helsley?
Well, when you sign them, the question was health, period. Kittredge, when he came back, with the Cubs, because after the Orioles got rid of him the first time last year, he went to the Cubs, and then I think it was the Phillies, right? Or did he stay with the Cubs?
I think he
stayed with the Cubs. Stayed with the Cubs.
Yeah.
He pitched great for the Cubs.
Yeah.
So signing him made sense. Health is a totally different issue, and it's the same thing with Ryan. I mean, when you look at him, health has been the question. When he was healthy earlier, he was good.
Yeah.
I hate to say it's a F, it's a D. Everything looks good when somebody's healthy.
Yeah.
It looks like crap when they're not healthy. It's probably a C. Knowing that was a position of need and you kind of went as a budget, I think they went on a budget instead of really addressing it. So it's probably a C for me.
Yeah, like we said about Shane Baz, we didn't really know he was on the market. A lot of teams weren't looking that way. I'm sure there was a couple relievers that were in the same boat that you could have tried to find something for, but alas, that's what we got. I'm going to give it a C-. Mainly, Kittredge he's had his moments of good, had his moments of bad, and like you said, health. And Ryan Helsley, I had the worry when we signed him that I felt like we could have gotten him for less money than we did.
Yes.
Mainly just because he was awful with the Mets last year.
Yes.
Awful with the Mets. And I know you look at it, it's just a fluke season, whatever. But still, I was hoping, and I'm just hoping he doesn't carry that into this, because his past couple times since coming off the injured list hasn't looked that great.
Yeah, I think when you take the position, the two issues you got, Kittredge pitched a lot last year with the Cubs towards the end. He pitched a ton. And like you said, Ryan was awful. And they paid him as a middle of the road to upper road closer in a position of need.
Yeah.
I think that's what brings that grade down. I mean, if you said D, it would have made sense.
Yeah. I think you could justify F through B.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You really could anywhere.
Yeah.
But the last one I wanted to touch on is the Leody Taveras signing, which we didn't think was going to be that big of a deal when it happened. But boy, it definitely did impact the team.
I mean, that's another, you got to say A or B. I mean, he's come in, he's hit pretty decent. He has a pretty good on base percentage. He's a plus defender. And I think they were starting him at third base, or he had to play third base.
They didn't start at third base, but he come in like the third inning after Alexander got hurt. Yeah.
I mean, again, you're talking about a guy who was supposed to be a spot player, and he's turned into almost an everyday player for him. So, and he's played well for the most part.
Yeah, I'm
so
gonna give it
got to be a B. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving it a B-, just because he's been struggling of late. But like the thing that gets you is for maybe 2 or 3 weeks there at like late April, he was winning games for the Orioles. Like he won. He won. He was the reason the Orioles won multiple games. And so you gotta give him that. But I also want to go over our injury report, because like we've been saying, health is everything. The Orioles don't got much of it. It's really starting off is Blaze Alexander, like we mentioned, and then Jackson Holiday. They've maintained on the roster, but they've been kind of hurt and banged up. That's why Leody Taveras had to come in and play third base the other day, is because of Alexander. But we don't have any really word on them. Maybe by the time this podcast is even out, they're both fully fine, which I hope that's the case. But going on to people that are actually on the injured list, Adley, he's out until minimum the 26th. So according to when you're listening to this, he might be back. But it's the concussion, it's 7-day IL. That's 7 days from when he went on the IL. So that's the earliest he comes back. We hope he comes back that day, because if not, then you really messing with the brain. It's hard. You really, I mean, look, Ryan Mountcastle, that's what happened to him. He had that vertigo, messed up his whole system. That really kind of derailed his career almost, you want to say.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and in Norfolk, you got a lot of people rehabbing. You got Adley, he's probably going to be rehabbing for a game. But if you look like right now, we got Dylan Beavers, he's down there. Cade Povich, Gene Kramer, they're both getting some rehab starts. We're looking at getting our bullpen, maybe getting some help. Felix Bautista, he's advancing from bullpen sessions, which that'll be huge for the Orioles to get him back towards the later parts of this season. And then you even look on like Yarmiel Geraldo and Colin Selby, they're starting to throw up a little bit. They're going to be out for a little bit, but that might be some help later down the road that you can look at to try to assist this team, but they need health.
Yeah, if they can get semi-healthy, I think Kramer and Povich coming back could be major additions, even if it's in the bullpen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it could be major.
Yeah, because you look at this team right now, and that even advances us to the next segment, just talking about some of our stat leaders. You look at this rotation, and say you look at it overall, right now the 5-man rotation, it's Kyle Bradish, Shane Baz, Trevor Rogers, Brendan Young, and Trey Gibson. Those are your 4. And throughout the course of this season, the stats might not look that great, but granted, it's because they had some bad starts early on. But
Yeah.
Kyle Bradish, he's got 4.18 ERA. Shane Baz, he's got 2.92. Rogers, 2.22. Brandon Young, 2.59. And then Trey Gibson, he's the odd one out there, 7.71. If you get Povich or Kramer to come back, fill in that 5-hole spot, that could really help the Orioles. Some more experienced innings.
I think right now, if you can get those two back, and then you look at where they're heading stat wise, where their starters have been, and if one of those guys ends up in the bullpen to try to lengthen that bullpen, I think it's a major win for the Orioles.
Yeah, absolutely. And then looking at the offensive side, this is really where you can start seeing it shine. You look at the course of the season, some of the stats are really shining through a little bit better than others, but I just want to really focus on the month of June. So the Orioles had a great offensive month. Pete Alonso, 9.75 OPS with a 288 batting average, 7 home runs. It's huge in only 20 games. Then even Colton Cowser, 786 OPS, 241 batting average. He's got 4 home runs. That's the second most in the month. Gunnar Henderson, he's finally bouncing back. 263 batting average, 832 OPS. Taylor Ward, a 284 average, 803 OPS. Blaze Alexander, we've been talking about, been killing it. 413 batting average, a 1.125 OPS. And then you look at Jeremiah Jackson, he's killing it, 333. And granted, not as many games, but still, 333 batting average, that's good. Adley Rutschman at 261 batting average. Tyler O'Neill's batting 265. It's not awful. Not awful. And you look at it, Tavares, he's been struggling a little bit. And you say Basayo, he's had a rough month, and Jackson Holiday's still trying to find it. And Kobe Mayo's still Kobe Mayo. But besides that, everyone else is killing it. Which is, you can make it with 7 good hitters in a lineup. You can manage to work your way around 2 holes. And granted, if your 2 holes in your lineup are Samuel Basayo and Kobe Mayo, it's not a bad lineup.
No, Mayo's had good at bats. It's his swing rate, his chase rate has went down. I watched him the other night hit the ball hard, just right at people. I don't know if he's your everyday starter, just because I don't know if he's ever going to hit to the average you need. But I mean, they're you don't have to have him to be the best on your team if Henderson and Rutschman and Alonso are hitting the ball well. You just need him to play his part.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at his baseball savant page too, he is top the league in average exit velo, hard hit percentage, barrel percentage, bat speed. Like it's there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I'm excited, to see where they go if they can keep it up.
Yeah. So now I have one question for you here, Greg. Can the Orioles make the playoffs?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The most definitely, because the American League, after you get past your top, at your first place team in every division, you look at your second place team. The farthest back the Orioles are is, I think, 3 games. But everybody's 3 games back except for like 3 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Orioles can make it. The Orioles have a good enough team to make the playoffs. It really, for me, and I said it at the beginning of the season on this podcast, and I'll say it again. It comes down to one player. That's Gunnar Henderson. If Henderson is the superstar that everybody says he is, and I was talking to my brother the other day about this, and he was mad at me. Oh, you're putting down Henderson. I'm not. I think the guy has unbelievable potential. But if he can turn into Bobby Witt, what Witt does, the production, and Henderson has the ability, that team goes from middle run to being able to compete for the top of the AL East. I mean, the AL East is there. It's not like the Yankees are without Judge, they're not a juggernaut.
No.
And the way your starting pitching is working right now, yeah, they can compete. Which brings me to the next point of, you will know in the next 15 days whether the Orioles think they are going to be a playoff team or not, because the rumors around Adley Rutschman are going to get very loud.
They sure are.
I mean, he's going to be gone. If you see them say they go on a 5-game losing streak and they drop, he's gone. Because he's a free agent after this year. I don't see them re-signing him. But if they have a chance to make the playoff, he's a major catalyst to being in the middle of the order.
100%.
So I think that's what you're going to see with him. I'd love to see him make the playoffs.
I would too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like looking ahead, like you said, we play the Nationals, White Sox, Reds, Cubs, and the Royals heading into the All-Star break.
And except for the Royals, all those teams, I think Cincinnati might be a couple games under 500, but all those teams are over 500.
Yeah, the Nationals have been sneaky competitive this year.
Yeah, I mean, the White Sox are leading their division. The Cubs are back in it. I mean, I think they're in second place. They might be third right behind St. Louis in their division. They're over 500. I mean, this is a major time for the Orioles.
Yeah, it's going to be like this is make or break time. Like you said, say we go 10-5 in the next 15 games, we're not selling. That doesn't mean we're buying maybe, but we're at least not selling.
No,
but if we go 5-10, it's realistic. Leody Taveras will be gone. Blaze Alexander, maybe. Badley Rutschman, he'll be traded. You start looking at some of your shorter pieces. Taylor Ward, gone.
Yeah, your 1-year rentals and your relievers. I mean, you remember last year when the Orioles decided to give it up.
The whole back end of our bullpen.
They had the whole. I mean,
everyone but
Yennier of your bullpen.
Yeah, it was pretty much Yennier, Cano, and Keegan Aiken. They were all that stage.
Exactly. And so that tells you what people think of the talent that's on the Orioles. Mm-hmm. It just also tells you what the Orioles haven't done collectively.
Yeah.
And I think you can see it again this year.
Yeah.
If they become sellers. Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll have to see what's happening next week.
That's it.
Like always, there's another week of baseball. And like we always say, we hope it's super positive, and we hope the Orioles won every single game since you listen to this. So you listen to the next time. But it's been a blast, hasn't it, Greg?
It's been awesome.
Well, we'll catch you guys next week, and maybe Cody will be back to join us. But you know where to find us on all our social media channels, pages everywhere. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts for the listening. Go to YouTube if you want to watch our pretty faces too. Get a lot of emotion and expression that way. But go check us out on everything. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, do whatever you want to do. Share. I don't care if it's a mean comment. Leave a comment. I'll respond. I'll tell you you're mean. But thank you guys so much for sticking along this season with us. We'll catch you next week. See ya.
See ya.